is if resources are allocated across the country where there is need in accordance with the priorities that our government has said explicitly they want to do.
Okay.
But if you can hire 5 prime ministers, as it were, one for each major, linguistic group, and they will get nothing out of it. The prime minister will be there with a fleet of cars and a lot of people around him, but their villages will still be empty. Kids will not go to school. Food security will still be a challenge. It's in the allocation of resources out there. That can be allocated by anybody who has that mandate. It doesn't have to be a tribesman. You don't have to be a Luya to bring that development into Learland. You do not have to be a Turkana to take care of the annual famine that we get in Turkana. We just need to be a responsible government. It's that which is lacking. And none of these expansions in executive can actually fix it. It is in the policy, how you articulate it, how you implement it, but it's also by the people keeping their leaders, keeping their feet on fire, not allowing them to become bigger than themselves, bigger than the voters in totality, so they can then take us where they want to take us, even though we have means by which you can check them. That's why I think we have a major failure. None of that has come out yet about the next election. And I think it is the hollowness of that claim that killed the BBI. People saw in it that, in fact, it's not going to be the kind of thing that can do what they're promising to do. They're unwilling now, when I say they, I mean the government in power, they're unwilling now, for example, to begin to allocate resources in the budget in a way that indicates their intention and the direction in which they are going. It can't happen overnight.
Maybe I can ask something very small.
Yeah.
The reason why this bill is important is it wants to bring the section of governance into Parliament. I said the presidential system is not one of the best we are seeing right now. If we had a prime minister in the Parliament, we would not have meetings of voting like the ones we had in the Senate, where ministers do not feel responsible. In fact, many times they have other meetings to go rather than come to Parliament. And I said the last time that this is because their allegiance is to their appointer, not the Parliament. Parliament is just another body there, So if we have this Prime Minister and the deputies, they will bring back now accountability into Parliament, and that is key for us, so that they can answer questions asked by the MPs right there, and they become accountable. So that is very, very important. Also, I want to reiterate that in any leadership of any country, the face of that nation should be reflected. If it is skewed the way it is skewed now, that is why we have a problem. So those two factors are in the Kieni's bill, and I think it should come as yesterday.
Okay. And it's also a difficult entry or busy entry for members of parliament. Perhaps talk to us about these important businesses. The National Hospital Insurance Fund bill, which is set to make treatment more affordable to Kenyans. I think this is equally of key concern, right, Martins?
It is. Initially, we had hoped that the UHC will be financed by input, meaning giving all the essential commodities or supplies to KEMSA and push them to the counties, so that when you go to the dispensary, you will have the drugs there. But replenishing and all this was not foreseeable. So the other thought now was to give funding, partial funding or subsidy to National Hospital Insurance Fund, which we have now said National Health Insurance Fund, and also to government to pay for indigents, those who cannot pay. And we have also made some changes so that the NIF can be fully equipped, and you are given an electronic card. So when you go to the health facility, you just swap your card and you get treatment, and the facility will bail the organization to pay them back. So it is now going to be on a full kind of insurance-based rather than inputs. That's the difference. It's coming up, and we are still mopping up other areas because they are going to have a lot of money now, and we are still thinking how they are going to manage those resources, which is very key. because Kenyan institutions sometimes have surprised us. You give them too much money, and tomorrow you hear scandal after scandal. So it's coming for debate, and I think that is the way to go. As a member of the Health Committee, we have deliberated upon it, and it's now coming to the floor of the House.
Okay, well noted. Even as we talk about let's shift focus to health matters just briefly. Sakwa Bunyasi, I don't know if you've been monitoring the state of vaccination in the country. As of September 19th, according to the dailies, 3.36 million. That's the number of vaccines that have been administered across the country. Well, what's your take on this, even as there's talks of vaccine passports around global countries? What's your take with this?
Thank you very much. First of all, let me congratulate government for having moved somewhat in vaccinating. If they have done 3.3 million, that is some progress. But I wish that we didn't judge ourselves by what number we have reached. We should judge ourselves by what shortfall we have relative to the target that we want. Because in terms of the goals we want to achieve, herd immunity, meaning that getting many people who are exposed in a controlled way to the virus through vaccination, for example, including those who may have fallen sick and have survived, and the number is big enough so that the risk of infection of the remaining ones is not that great, and the risk of overwhelming the system is reduced. And to do that, if you look at our adult population, which will be 23 perhaps, or 20-some million, although these days it's moving all the way down to the children, we still have got a long way to go. While I appreciate that the global market has not been really properly driven in a commercial sense, it has relied a lot on friends that you have got, quantities you can negotiate, and so on and so forth. And in our case, we've been looking for donations, even at a time when many of us felt this would have been the one time to kill even the mega projects, slow them down, stop them, and fund health, and fund COVID-related issues. Now, but let me go a bit also to the comments that my colleague has made, and I agree. The attempts to reform the national insurance health-related, or it used to be hospital, they're going broader, it's health insurance fund, I think are good ones. The intentions are good. I do not know if I don't know yet if the proposals are adequate in themselves, but the direction they're going is the right direction, and on that we should support. We'll wait to get specifics on the floor. One thing I want to add, Rogers, the people to worry about, it's not the Bunyasis and the winners who seated in this studio. We can afford to pay our own insurance, even source it externally while we are resident in Kenya. The people to worry about are the ordinary people who do not have any other choice, whose only demands on this hospital insurance fund may be that sick child with malaria, maybe that poor and diabetic person, maybe that person boda who was a broken leg. The people who at the time they interact with the hospitals are totally desperate. That's what government should worry about. And for me, I'll be looking into this bill to say, what is it in this bill that will make it easier now for those people who didn't access these services? Let me tell you, NHIF has been quite problematic. There are people who have got assistance to do major surgeries, 800 million shillings supported by NHIF. And there are those who only get a bed cost in some rural hospital, and that's all they get. The rest of the bills they have to make. We must improve fairness. We must make the top pay for the lower. That happens in every country. Those who can should pay more. But our aim must be to take care of those who otherwise will not get any assistance. I'm glad that the bill is coming up. I think it's a good thing. And we will see what is being proposed and critically evaluate it.
And Roger, I agree. That is why we removed it from hospital, because it was only targeting the hospital. Now, even the dispensaries, and it has expanded to cover cancers, X-rays, and all those which were missing. And of course, it's coming to the floor. Let me just add something on vaccination, and that is, right now we have 6 million vaccines, and we want to encourage Kenyans. We have only done 3 million. That is covering the 3%, and some have halfway, meaning they have only one shot. If we do not increase the uptake, even some of these vaccines will expire. And this notion of if you get a shot in your arm, it will cause fire, or if you take it, you'll die 2 years. These are nonsense. When you get COVID, it is you and your God only. Those who are propagating all this will not be around you. So go take this vaccine. It is good. It protects you. Even if you unfortunately get the other infection, it cannot take you to ICU. That is how best this is. But we are too far away because you see the political activities. We need many people to be vaccinated so that we can protect each other.
Quite so. And just interestingly, is there still a ban on political gatherings in this country?
I wish we could have that. But what we see is the reality of the situation. And that's why we are now saying, okay, from our health committee, we said that ban should be there, and the president said it, but it's not being there. Now go get vaccination. At least, if we can make 20 million or to 25 million, then we can now be cruising towards that herd immunity we always talk about. But now the vaccines are there. The challenge which we are giving the Minister of Health is now to have a comprehensive database, because some of these vaccines are single shot, and some you have to come for revaccination. So all this, if it's mixed up, might bring confusion. Even somebody who has taken one dose going for the other might come for a single shot dose. So that can bring confusion because there are now varieties. So the ministry has to come with a proper system of tracking who they give what and who should come for another what. That one, we challenged them yesterday to put into perspective.
Exactly.
Yeah, a very quick one, Roger.
Briefly, yeah.
I don't want to take you back. On the vaccines, what is lacking in many communities, Busia being one of those, is information where to get the vaccine by ordinary people. If you say, for example, it will be at the county headquarters, that's already a challenge for a large number of people who won't be able to go there to get the vaccine. I think that they must do like we have done before, even with animal diseases. When we had foot and mouth, movement is stopped. The entire administration is working with public health, animal health officers to get where the livestock are and vaccinate them there. I think that we must get to the people and vaccinate them as close to their homes as possible. The nearest dispensary, in my case, for example, in Busia, in Ambari, there are many dispensaries, but I know there are many parts of this country where getting to the nearest dispensary is still a challenge. There must be another way. We must get to the people, and we must tell people in advance where they will get that vaccine. Right. And then, of course, we have to debunk. We have to persuade people that there are no those ill effects that have been that are being propagated, and so that our people can come out and get the vaccines with as low cost as possible. That's really an important part.
Okay, that's really proper. So in case you're back at home and you're still not vaccinated, make sure you do, because it will definitely not just boost the safety of you, but your loved ones as well. We want to take a short break right now. When we come back, it's all to do with matters economy. And the papers today have a lot of details on the cooking cost that is hitting an all-time high, which is quite worrying. Get this, in January 18th, in January 2018 rather, the prices of kerosene were at around 74 bob. Fast forward to around September 21, we have 110.82 Kenya shillings. That's the price of kerosene as it is right now. We just won't talk about that, but also the runaway fuel prices in the country. Is it down to the tax in the country, or is it all to do with the global market prices? And what about controlling the prices of fuel? Was this a good move? We'll try and deliberate on this and much more, including what Parliament intends to do in terms